Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Western Alliance Era 2 Premium Medium Tank, the AMX 30B2 Forad. Now the Forad, I thoroughly enjoyed this tank because I just really enjoyed the brrrr, okay? I really enjoyed the brrrr. The brrrr is life, okay? It really is. If you don't love the brrrr, then you're the one that's getting shot by it, because to be honest, the 20mm autocannons that are on these Frenchies are probably a little bit too good at what they do in terms of facing down the lightly armoured tanks, because they are absolutely exceptional at tearing tanks to shreds that basically have no armour. It's honestly hilarious. That's basically why I've loved all these Frenchies, because that 20mm autocannon just makes... It gives it that little niche. It gives it that little bit of fun that you can have with the tank. In the fact that something can attack you and you can just trash its day so quickly. Which is why, say, the AMX 30, or is it 3066, or something like that, the bottom era French tech tree one, is something that I don't mind using all that much, even though it fires heat as standard and heat's the only round you get, basically. And that's because the autocannon is so damn useful. Like, the way I take it is if you get YOLO'd by a ATGM light tank, which that happens a lot, in a Centurion 9 or an M60, they come in, slap you for 1,000, you get like a 460 shot in, and they just run away giggling like a little girl because they've just, like, absolutely smashed you. In a Forad, or in the AMX 3066, or in the 30B2, or in the Brennus, they come in, ATGM you, sure, they're going to do a lot of damage, but they basically don't escape with their life. That doesn't happen, because basically what happens is you go, hello friend, you slap them for 460, and then you just start machine gunning them, and they lose all of their hit points so quickly. And then add to that if you keep using the main cannon as well, because one of the things you have to do when you're using this multi-weapon system is that you have to keep your eye on when you're loaded with the main cannon and when your autocannon is fully loaded as well. Because you need to be like using the autocannon, and then when your main cannon is fired, automatically switch straight back to your main cannon fire, and then carry on going with the autocannon. That is the strength of these French tanks. That is what you have to do. You have to get used to that multi-weapon system, and that is the extreme strength of these tanks. But yeah, that's why I like, even though because the thing is, the Forad I really enjoy, because you can load the full gold, you can load the full APCR, and you can play at full capacity all the time. But the heat isn't useless. The heat you can use, you can pen stuff with heat. The problem, and there is plenty in this era, by the way, that you can pen with heat. The problem is there are some tanks that you just basically can't do anything about. And we're staring at one right there in the FV4211. And the T72AV is another example. There's a couple. But there's another example. The C72AV, you basically can't do anything about that tank with heat rounds, and it's pure RNG as to whether you're going to pen them. Now, obviously, with a 4.2-on-1, you do have the cupola that you can actually pen with the heat. You can actually pen the cupola with the machine gun, which is really random. But yeah, you can pen that with heat. With the AV, you can actually shoot through the turret front sometimes. But again, it's pure RNG, pure chance as to whether that heat round will not get absorbed by the space armor and go through, which is why I load full gold on the Forad, because you can play at full capacity, and then you can have all the fun with the great gun handling that this tank has, the great APCR velocity, the great pen at 483, I believe it is, in terms of penetration, and the velocity too, like, and then you can just machine gun. You can just machine gun to your heart's content, and it's glorious. I love the machine guns. I love things that go brrrr. I do love the brrrr. It's great. Brrrr. You know, that's the way it is. So what do I run in terms of a crew on the AMX 30B2 Forad? Same as I run on any of these Frenchies. I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Clutch Braking, Deadeye, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Off-Road Driving. Now the gun handling on this tank is absolutely fantastic, so I don't feel the need to take Snapshot, so that's why we run Off-Road Driving instead, just to try and make sure that the Forad does hit its top speed at 71 km an hour with the traction system as easily as possible. Clutch braking to just make the mobility feel really nice, and that, you know, make it feel like it turns on the 6 minutes really quickly. Helps you to keep up with the little light tanks that might come and run round past you. And then the gun perks like run and gun and steady aim to just make the gun better at firing on the move and better in general, because you always want to do that. And then in terms of equipment, on the 30B2 Forad, I run the advanced loader, the gun stabilizer, and the traction system. Traction systems go at 71 kilometers an hour and give you, again, that extra little bit of track traverse to make it feel nice when you're chasing down those light tanks. The gun stabilizer to make this gun as good as possible, because it is a good gun, but it's even better with the gun stabilizer, and it's still something that is really nice without the gun stabilizer, but at the end of the day, it's really nowhere near the level that you can get this gun to with the gun stabilizer, which is why you run it. And then advanced loader to make your DPM 10% better, as always. And if you're wondering why I run Deadeye on the crew for the Forad as well, that is because of the autocannon. So because the autocannon pens a lot of shots very, very quickly in a lot of, in rapid succession, that is making every single round that enters their tank have 6% higher chance of doing module damage. And if you think about it, that is a lot of rounds. That is a lot of rounds that is going through those tanks, which means there's a lot, you're making your ability to damage someone's modules by 6% higher all the time with those, which is why we do it. So as you've seen in this first game, we have managed to get 8.8k damage. There's only one tank left. It is this 4211. We're just using the machine gun against his ass, and we're sort of penning a few, ricocheting a few, and we're just trying to get the kill, but we can't quite manage it, and the Conqueror shuts down the 4211. We had to get away from the 4211 there and shoot lower down on his back end to pen with the machine gun, but we still got a nice total. We finished with 2 kills, 9.6k damage, 2.4k assistance, the ace tank of the high caliber, the Confederate, 1,542 base XP. A really nice game for the AMX 30B2 Forad. And yet, even firing full gold in the Forad, you still make a very healthy profit. Naturally, you could make a lot more if I was firing heat, but still 340 odd thousand silver is nothing to be sniffed at all. That's pretty damn nice. And we're on to the second replay, and the second game, we are on this map, which is Karelia. That's the one. We're on Karelia. So on Karelia, what we're going to do is we are going to push aggressively down the 9-0, hopefully get into the little dip and try our best to get some shots off at these guys that might go to K5-6. But it's a very, very risky thing to do, because if they attack the hill pretty quickly, you can get caught out and shot in this little position here, which is really awkward and not a good time. So we've caught our first target out. We've managed to track the M50 on toss. We get a few shots in, and then we managed to bounce the light tank, but we do take a hit from one of the tanks on the corner. Now the Forad, same as the Brennus, has a pretty nice turret. Again, it's not infallible, but it does bounce a decent amount of shots, which is quite nice. Don't ever go hull down in a Forad, or the Brennus for that matter either, and expect to bounce shots off of your turret, because you're not going to all the time. But just when you do go hull down, obviously your hull is always going to get penned. When you do go hull down, you do give yourself the ability to not take not take damage guaranteed, essentially. The other thing that you got to bear in mind with these Frenchies as well is something that happens a lot if they get shot in the lower plate. It doesn't happen quite as much when they get shot in the upper plate, but the lower plate is pretty much where the fuel tanks are. So if you get shot in the lower plate, there's quite a high chance you're going to get set on fire. You do have a 10% internal fire chance, which is actually quite low. But, yeah, the engine block is basically in the front of the left-hand side. If you were to be looking at this thing front on, the left-hand side of the lower plate is the engine block, which means what happens a lot of the time is they get shot in the lower plate, and, yeah, you get set on fire because of the engine. And that's, unfortunately, something that these French tanks have to suffer in Cold War. So just bear in mind that if you do get shot, there's quite a high chance it's probably going to set you on fire, which is never a good time. So yeah, so far we're up to 4.5k damage. That Leopard 66 is gone, and now I want to move up. I don't want to get stuck on this corner where we are. I want to get to the next ridgeline if I can, and try and again push the tempo if we could. Because again, I don't want to get stuck on that corner, because if we get stuck on that corner, it's just they're going to have free farm on us. We're not going to be able to advance this game, and we don't want that. And there's a possibility they could come up behind us as well. So we're just looking for a shot into the cupola of the M60A2. I thank goodness he didn't shoot at me with that ATGM, because that would have hurt very, very badly. And we're just going to move up to try and get to the dip, or should I say to the little ridge line where their cap is. But I realised that there's a BMP2 not looking at it, there's a BMP2 in a position where I could shoot it. We try and get a load of shots into that BMP2, but we end up missing a fair few, and then we reload that autocannon as well. Because the best thing to do is always, if you do a volley, if you fire a volley of shells from that autocannon, but then the opportunity to fire that autocannon goes away, you're best just to automatically go straight for the reload of the autocannon, and then you're ready with a full clip for the next target that you can shoot at. And that way, obviously, you're maximising your ability to do damage. You're always maximising your ability to be at your full potential. So we're up to 7.5k damage with 664 assistance. The T-55 Enigma is at G1, so I kind of want to get round to get shots at him. But we're also being careful because you can get shot from the hill over there, and also if there's anything at C1, that might hurt. But we do come round, get a shot into the T-55 Enigma. I was kind of hoping to get a tracking shot. Something whiffs us from that hill, which is what I was say I had to try and be careful of. It actually ends up hitting us in the end, so we just move in, and we get a nice shot into the Enigma on the move, and he gets shut down. We're just keeping ourselves moving, so it's making it as difficult as possible for the enemy team to shoot at us. But now the T-72AV and the, I think it was a BMP, was it, is moving up from where we attacked from. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight back up to their cap so that we can get hull down where their cap is and then start shooting the AV and the BMP if we can. It's a bit risky because we still can get shot from the hill, which is where I've just pinged as well to say, hey guys, shoot the hill please. And then we end up getting shot by the Magak that is at C1. So there was actually a tank at C1. So that absolutely poops on my plan because I was hoping to get to this position here with this ridgeline. And that meant that I was kind of safe from the hill, but I could also get shots hull down at the Magak and the BMP. So we end up seeing there the tank that is shooting it is another Magak, and I'm like, oh god, I'm going to probably die here. We're just keeping ourselves moving if we can to make it as difficult as possible. And so I decided, you know, okay, I've got to move up again. We've got to move in, move up to the rock, and that way we can get safe from the Magak, but also get ourselves into position to shoot the BMP and the T-72. That BMP ended up driving round. We're just waiting for the reload. We go for the tracking shot. We set it on fire. He fires the ATGM, but not at us, thankfully, which means he's whiffed it. So we're up to 10,500 damage. Just going to charge in now on the AV and the BMP because they're both low health. And unfortunately, we couldn't quite get there to get the shots in, but we know where the last two, well, we know where one of the last two is anyway. We know the Magak is at C1, so we're going to turn around and try and get there. But we get spotted, and it's like, wait a minute. That's that pesky little Ontos. There he is. We get the shot in on the move to shut down the pesky little Ontos, and he is out. And there's the Magak. We used the True Vision there to try and see where he was, well, see where he was, see if he was moving out, and thankfully he was. So we're going to push as fast as we can because we want to get more damage. We can take a hit from this Magak, so we're going to play it risky a bit. Trying to see him, can't see him. We do get spotted. It's like, oh, hello, sir. You're in that bush. Okay, why not? So we're just waiting for the reload. We get another shot into his lower plate. He's charging into the dip. And that's what happens when you charge into the dip. He ends up managing to kill himself, sadly. So we finish the game with the victory. We come top on the team. 2 kills, 11,670 damage. Really nice game for the AMX 30B2 Forad. 1,537 base XP. The 2 kills, a little bit of blocks. 200k ace tanker, and damn nice game in the 30B2 Forad. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play. I really do enjoy it. The only thing for me now is that I don't really play it because I have a Brennus, and the Brennus is the 30B2 Forad, but a little bit better in tech tree form, because naturally this is like mid-era, whereas that's top era. But the Forad is still a damn solid tank, and it makes you pretty damn nice credits too. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!